Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. So, I wanted to show some of my Detroit Red Wings fans some love because they are actually the video or the team that I've made the least videos on this channel. So, I figured, you know what? Why not talk about a topic that should be talked about right now? And it's how much Moritz Seider could get on his next contract. And Seider is obviously in the final year of his entry level contract, if I'm correct. I believe he is. And now there is talk of, what is he going to get signed to at the end of this season? And we've already seen a lot of defensemen get signed to contracts who expire at the end of this year. Some of the notable ones being Taze, Dahlin, Vince Dunn, Dunn was obvious, he needed to be extended anyways, but Sanderson's another one. Those guys all needed to be re-signed. And now I want to talk about Seider because Seider is a very interesting defender for Detroit because he had a Calder-winning year in there. He had a year in there where there was the down season, relatively, for him. And now I feel like he might have a career year this coming season. And it definitely would make sense. So first up, before we get into the other contracts other players have signed, I want to look at the contract or Seider's career stats currently. So through 166 games played as of October 15th, 2023, so anything after that, it's not relevant. He had 13 goals, 81 assists for 94 points. And obviously, as I mentioned, he won the Calder Trophy in 21-22, and he expires at the end of the 23-24 season. So with Seider, very interesting guy. Obviously, he's going to crack the 100-point mark in his career this coming season. Already has 2 points this year. Is 6 points away from putting that. Obviously, he's a great defenseman. I would say he's the best defender on Detroit in both areas. Maybe Wallman's a little bit better defensively, but I would say Seider's probably your overall number one defender. And now the question is, how much is he going to get paid for that? Now, Seider is no Cale Makar. Seider is no Victor Hedman. Seider is no Adam Fox. He's not at that level, and I think Red Wings fans may hate on me for that. But as of right now, unless if he has his career year, he is not at that level just yet. But you look at his first season, Calder Trophy winning year. It was a great year. Him and Lucas Raymond really carried the Calder race. Then you had 2022-23 where he played with Ben Sherratt a lot, and Sherratt kind of killed him. Like, he made his stats really, really bad at the first half of the year. Then he improved in the second half. But that was obviously a topic for discussion. And this year, the hope is that he is going to have a career season. And I feel like he will. He's a guy who expires, obviously, and, it's been a trend for the past couple of years where a guy who is going to expire on his contract tends to do very well in that season before his contract expires, which makes a lot of sense. It's happened many times, but Horvat's a big example, recency, and, obviously, that plays a factor. Now, I don't think he gets signed until later on in the season or towards the off season. I don't think he's going to get signed around now, mainly because Detroit doesn't have the money right now. They don't. They only have $4.4 million in cap space, and they do have 10 other players expiring, and none of them are like huger names. They're obviously all smaller players compared to Seider, but they only have $4.4 million in space. So I don't think they sign him now. They very well could. But I don't think they sign him now. Obviously, if they do, the extension will kick in next season, so it's not a huge deal if they sign him now. But I don't think they will. Not only because of that, but I think Stevie Y is very stringy with his contracts. He takes time to get him signed and all that. So we'll obviously find out there. But Seider, being the number one defender on Detroit, how does he compare to the other defenseman contracts we've seen signed recently? Now, I have 5 here. I have 5 other contracts that are big examples. We'll start off with the most recent one. He was signed on Friday. Colorado Avalanche defender Devon Taze was signed to a 7-year, $7.25 million contract. Great money for him. Great defensive defender. Really helps out carrying Makar's end on that Colorado blue line. Additionally, the Sabres locked up their 2 big goalies in defenders in Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin. Power, a 7-year, $8.35 million contract, and Dahlin, an 8-year, $11 million contract. The 2 best defenders on the two best defenders on the Buffalo Sabres. So deserving of those contracts. Jake Sanderson was signed to an 8-year, $8.05 million contract with Ottawa. Obviously, with Sanderson, he's been a great defender, probably their second best at this point, behind Thomas Sherratt. Some would even argue their best at this point, but Sanderson, great defenseman. And then Vince Dunn was signed to a 4-year, $7.35 million contract. Dunn, obviously a great defender for Seattle, has done amazing things there with that team. So how does Seider compare to those 5 contracts? Now, I would say that he's better than Dunn. He's better than Power. He's better than Taze. Maybe, actually, no. I'm not too sure about that. Value-wise, he's way more valuable than Taze is to that Detroit blue line. You take Seider off that blue line, it's a disaster. I'm going to be honest with you. But Seider, really valuable to that Red Wings blue line. He's more valuable than Dunn. He's more valuable than Taze. Dahlin, I don't know if he's more valuable than Dahlin. He's worth more than Power. That's 100%. He's probably more valuable than Power, too. I don't know if he's worth more or more valuable to Detroit than Dahlin is to Buffalo, but it's definitely an argument to be made. And then I want to look at Larkin's contract, too, because Larkin was signed to an 8-year, $8.7 million contract. Now, is Seider worth more than Larkin? That's a debate. Absolutely. And then obviously the question is, too, is Larkin or Seider more valuable to the team? I would probably say Larkin. I would probably say Larkin's more valuable. The captain, great offensive forward, just overall an amazing player. Seider can be more valuable, but he's not there yet. Unless if he has his career year that I'm saying he's going to, I just don't see him being more valuable than Larkin at this point. But yeah, the overall summary for this video is that Seider really should be higher than 7 for sure, but probably lower than $9 or $10 million. I would imagine it's going to be an 8-year contract. He probably does want to stay in Detroit. I wouldn't make an argument that he isn't. But he's definitely worth more than 7, but he's worth less than 10. Probably around the $9 million range, 9.5 we're talking here for Seider. More realistically, I think because of his overall production, but his overall value to the Red Wings. He is very valuable to that Red Wings defense. And without him, it's Jake Wallman, and that's basically it. Not dissing anybody else on that Red Wings blue line, but when it comes to the casual standpoint, that's basically it. And Seider is a favorite in Detroit. Definitely going to be signed to around an $8 to $9 million contract, maybe 9.5. But realistically, it should be an 8x8, 8x9, somewhere around there. But yeah, anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, that comment down below. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on what you guys think Seider will be signed to. It's obviously definitely a debate, but regardless, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.